That's a good intro for you all. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you, Prince, for joining me. This time it's about the Royal Rumble that happened 2 days ago.
The
So,
Royal Rumble.
Prince, what was the feeling when Edge won the entire match?
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like WWE really made Edge go number one from number one to win the Royal Rumble. Edge is almost 50 years old. Number one. Like only the third person in history to win it from number one. Like I think they did it because they wanted someone to win it from number one again. They thought like, okay, maybe we need someone else. And the fact that it's Edge, like, so I mean, obviously, I haven't seen anybody complain about that. Like, it's one of the few Rumble wins where it's not like really controversial because everyone's actually happy. Like it's everyone's happy to see Edge back wrestling, and with the fact that he won that last elimination with Randy Orton, ooh, ooh,
Did you think you would lose
oh,
in the end?
I did. I was thinking this is Randy's again, like that RKO. I thought that was it. I can't believe he recovered like and just reversed and then just threw him out. I can't believe it. So it's
That would have
amazing to
sucked.
see, honestly.
It would have sucked, yeah, if Randy would have won just like that, like Edge completing the entire match, and then in the end, Randy would win and screw everything up for
Exactly.
everyone. But
Exactly. And
like,
I mean, I think, yeah, go on.
hmm,
Sorry.
I'm just saying that this was one of the best rumbles because you didn't know who's gonna win. I'm damn serious about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. Like the last four were what? It was Christian, Edge, Braun Strowman, and Matt Riddle. So I was
Yeah.
like, are they gonna give it to Edge, or is I thought it's between Edge and Strowman because I forgot
Yeah.
about Randy at the time.
No, I
But
thought
then I was thinking that like, surely he's gonna come back. Everyone who gets
yeah,
injured in the Royal Rumble match, they'll come back. Always come back.
100%.
Yeah. So as
And
soon as he eliminated the last person, the bell didn't go off. Before that RKO, I was like, oh, it's Randy. If he's there, he's there, and then yeah.
actually, you WWE are very good at this right now because there's no crowd, so they zoom in on
Mm.
the guy to not make sure that who's gonna come at the back. Like
Yeah.
when Randy Orton appeared, we didn't know. Like if there was a crowd, you would hear that pop.
Yeah,
Oh, Randy Orton
yeah.
has come. And
Correct.
the one thing I have to give credit to WWE is that when they made Edge win, see they're trying to erase Chris Benoit again. I understand that they
Yeah.
made Edge win because he came back from the injury, and it was a very uh, when he was injured and he was retired, you never could believe 10 years later he would come back in the pandemic year
Mm-hmm.
and win the Royal
Mm-hmm.
Rumble next year to headline WrestleMania. You could never write this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it just shows that you never can give up in life. You just sometimes you just need to pause yourself, and maybe 10 years later you need to again do it, and you can. But
True.
With Edge's win, obviously four people won the Royal Rumble from number one: Sean, Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio, and now Edge. But they will
Rey
just keep
Mysterio,
saying
yeah.
3-3. So, but I
Mm-hmm.
understand why they're doing that because they want to erase Chris Benoit, but you can't. But like they're trying to do it. Maybe I don't know. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually impressed with Matt Riddle a lot. He was immense in the Royal Rumble.
Man, the thing is, you always look at like certain people in the Rumble, and you're like either impressed or you're disappointed at how they performed, right? Like Riddle, I feel like he is someone I'm hoping gets a push. He's someone I'm hoping he gets a United States Championship run. Like I think he might take it off. It looks like he might take it off Lashley soon. Actually, I don't know if you saw Raw yesterday, but like he had a disqualification win. Like I think they're just pushing it to the point where it's like he will get that win. But yeah, like I'm glad Riddle had that chance. I'm glad guys like Damien Priest had the time to shine. Daniel Bryan, everyone was hoping he'd win it. He was a sentimental favorite. He was there for a while,
I was
and I
sad,
mean,
man, when he didn't come in the last five or last four. Even AJ Styles, man. I'm like, dude, no, don't waste these guys. You know, it's like when suppose for example AJ Styles didn't win, yeah, and if they had made Braun win this match, I would be pissed because Braun Strowman is not a great wrestler. How AJ is, how Daniel Bryan is. With Braun, you have that power. He's like the kind of Brock Lesnar, but he is constant. He's there always. But he was not there for like the past 5 months in Survivor Series. He was removed from TV and stuff. Bro, I can't hear you. I think you muted yourself. And
Sorry,
now
can
I
you hear
can
me
hear
now?
you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say with Braun Strowman, like when you look at him now, he looks so much more like an actual serious competitor. Like before, he had like the whatever vest he's wearing and stuff. Like with the shaven head, he's got a bit of like something going on here. He's a bit more like he's leaned down a little bit. He looks more like a proper threat. Like he was the Universal Champion last year, but I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to see Braun win it because he just won like that one in Saudi like what 2 3 years ago. So it's like nothing special. So I mean, I'm glad that WWE did something exciting. Did something that a little different, something that was completely unexpected. You know. So
Yeah, and
I don't think anyone
WrestleMania is
can
like
have any
two
complaints with
nights.
that.
WrestleMania
Mm.
is 2 nights, so
Again,
they
yeah.
will actually, yeah, again, 10th April and 11th April. And I think they would want to have more marquee matches because there's going to be crowds now in those 2 days. Happening in a
Yes.
stadium, so they're going to
Yeah.
take advantage of it fully. Like last year, obviously they didn't get enough money, but now in Florida it's happening, and I'm glad. I'm very glad that there are fans now. They're taking the time. It's like on April 10. It's very late comparatively,
Very late.
but
Usually it's beginning of April, isn't it?
yeah, it's in March. I think March end
Of course.
that it
Yeah.
happens.
March
But
end. Yeah.
right now, yeah, but right now, I think it's a very smart decision because 3 months left now. No, 2 months. I think, yeah, 2 months. And by the
True.
time there will be more vaccines in US, there'll be less, what do you say, risk
Mm.
compared to what is going on right now. What about Bianca? How do you think the women's Royal Rumble? Did you see that?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thoroughly enjoyed the women's Royal Rumble. Like thoroughly. Like I watched the whole thing and it was so entertaining from back to front. Like I was very very impressed and I was so happy that Bianca won it because when you think about who could win it, like look at her. Like you see the way they're building her as well. Like she is such a physical force. She's she's got it all. She has everything you want in a female wrestler. If not female wrestler, a actual superstar, WWE superstar. So I
Yeah.
think like this is one of the few rumbles where both winners. Like you cannot have any complaints with Bianca. Like fully deserves it. That push. She got a push from NXT just what last year, and now she's won the Royal Rumble. Like just by looking at the kind of superstar, the kind of superstar that Vince wants her to be, that the company wants to build her as, like it only made sense. And I was surprised, like, I mean, again, like she came in at number three, Edge came in at number one, so there's no like late entry that won it. They were there for the whole time. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that, honestly. I'm happy
Yeah.
with the whole pay per view, to be honest.
I'll tell you. I will go to the next match in just a moment. For Bianca, yeah, she was facing Rhea Ripley, and they both showed kind of their respect to each other. In the end, when they were about to be eliminated, and they stopped each other, like, let's go back to the ring and fight. And even Rhea Ripley,
Exactly.
yeah, and I love Rhea Ripley, man. She is so good. Like,
Mm.
find her one of the
She's
most
so badass.
attractive. I find her one of the
Yeah.
most attractive wrestlers, but she's so well built and a very damn good wrestler.
She's
Like, I saw a match
so
against
badass.
Charlotte
Like,
last year, and that match was killer match, man. But she didn't win, but Charlotte won. But she proved herself then.
Rhea Ripley is someone I'm waiting to see like officially join the main roster as well. But like the fact that it was them two at the end, like that was amazing. Because like when you're left with them two, it's like I don't actually mind whoever wins, because they both
Yeah,
are like it's fresh faces. They both are like, yeah, exactly, powerhouses, badasses. Like it was amazing. Like the fact that it came down to those two and stuff, and just the way everything worked out. So I'm happy about that.
okay, so we got those two matches away. The next match for me was the match of the night: Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. What an
Mm-hmm.
incredible match! What do
Mm.
you think about that?
Mm. I think it. Look, I'll tell you one thing. I enjoyed the whole match. I feel like they both, beat the living hell out of each other as they should have. Both like Kevin Owens diving from like the forklift and all sorts of things, and Roman Reigns obviously doing his thing. But there's one moment in that match I was a bit, you know, skeptical about. If you remember when Paul Heyman came to
Yeah,
uncuff
yeah,
Roman,
I got,
the
yeah.
referee stopped counting. Why?
They
Like,
made a mistake.
okay,
They made a
fine.
big mistake.
Yeah, he made a big mistake, but it's like, yeah, because imagine like they can't have a match end with Heyman uncuffing Roman, Kevin Owens is on the floor, referee counts to 10, and all of a sudden Kevin Owens is world champion. Like there was no way they were gonna do that. So I think they've either brought the second ref like way too early, and he should have come in later where the count would have ended by the time he got up, or what. But I wasn't necessarily pleased about that because I was like they did mess up. and a lot of people will have something to say about it. But regardless, Roman Reigns, he was always gonna win anyway. But the match, like the fact that they still made Owens look strong, they still made him look like a worthy competitor. I was happy about that, and it went in the back of the the performance center and all that. It was amazing.
But Kevin Owens really proved himself, man. He just showed that he's the man. He is amazing, man. Like obviously you knew Roman would win because they would want that star quality go to WrestleMania, and now we don't know who's
WrestleMania,
going to
yeah.
face. And now we know who Roman will face. It's going to be Edge. Like there's it's not a question anymore. But I think Kevin Owens might be involved. And WrestleMania is like 2 months away, so anything can happen. You can get more people in a match like triple threat and stuff like that. And but when he did a swanton bomb off the forklift, I'm like, this guy's crazy, man. How are they doing this? And he
Mm-hmm.
was smashed through a golf cart, same like they did in AEW. Did you notice that Kenny Omega
Bro,
tweet?
the Matt Hardy one, yeah. Bro, you know when that happened? Like you were mentioning this earlier, the fact that WWE do this really well with their camera angles where they focus, like they don't show what's happening.
Correct. Correct.
Legitimately, when Roman Reigns came just out of the blue, I was shook. I was literally like, I was in my seat, this specific seat. I was watching. I was like, like I was so scared for Kevin Owens. I was like, fuck, I didn't expect that. Like,
Yeah.
so
But
they did a
that's a
good
that's
job
a
with that
good
actually.
that's a good production quality that they have. They really know how to build that up. And because in the
Yeah,
AEW match or in the football field match that they had,
you could see
where they
it.
were
It
like,
was just chasing him. Yeah,
yeah, you could just see Chris Jericho, not the Chris Jericho, someone else. Matt Hardy was driving it,
Sammy Guevara
and Sammy Guevara. But that bump was
was
crazy,
the one
man.
who got
The
hit,
Sammy,
right?
Gu- yeah, the Sammy Guevara. Oh man, that was like, oh, he just flipped. But Kevin Owens,
Mm.
if you notice it
Legend.
very carefully, he broke the windshield, and the windshield actually went on Roman's face. If you just see
Yep,
it very carefully,
yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
and when you see Roman being so dominant, he was looking very weak. And credit to Roman also, like he actually sold the moves from Kevin, because
Exactly, exactly.
and when I see Roman Reigns doing this stuff, yeah, he's a much better wrestler than Brock. But Brock is a good seller, I would say. He can sell the shit out of anything. He's that good.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
with Roman Reigns, I think it's going to be Edge, or I don't know, man. Brock might come back. They might make that Paul Heyman kind of thing that he betrays Roman. Maybe I don't know. And it's a good thing that there's so many things that can happen in 2 months. As a fan,
mm-hmm.
you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Oh, who's going to win? Who's going to do that? Who's going to do this? But these two just nailed it from start to finish. They were brutal to each other. They were physical, good storytelling. The camera angles were also pretty good. Only that one screwed up thing that Paul Heyman did. Like, obviously, I don't blame him because it's the first time they were doing that kind of a stuff. Like, it's very smart that they
Yeah,
handcuffed him from the bottom and he couldn't even stand up.
yeah.
It's
I
very
know,
smart.
100%. Like to be honest, I don't want to see Edge versus Roman because I don't know how that's gonna play out. I feel like Roman is his peak. It's Roman Reigns, right? And he's probably this is the best character he's ever had. He's so strong right now. Like obviously not taking anything away from Edge. Like they're making him look like $1 million. He's still able to put on, long matches. He's still able to put on performances at his age, as we saw obviously. But I just feel like the fact that Edge won it, I can see them giving it to like they won the world titles. Like it's hard to see it changing, but it's also hard to see Edge facing either Drew or Roman. I thought they would have given it to Randy or something, and they would have had one final, meeting, but for the world title. But
See,
obviously
yeah,
they saw he faced off
that's what I'm
last.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
can change in 2 months. AJ Styles is still free.
exactly.
Like I have this. I just thought of this right now. Like AJ is on SmackDown. I think.
No,
Yeah,
he's
he's on
on Raw. He's
SmackDown.
on Raw.
No, he's on SmackDown.
No,
No,
he's on
he's
Raw. He
Raw.
just
Sorry,
appeared.
sorry.
He appeared on SmackDown last week just because of the brand invitational.
Yeah, yeah. So he's on Raw. Okay. It's going to look like Drew and Sheamus will be competing against each other and stuff. But what if there's a match between Roman and Styles, and Brock cheats on Roman, and then you have a rematch of Brock and Reigns, normal match at WrestleMania, and you have AJ versus Edge at WrestleMania for the championship. That would be
Ooh.
insane.
That would be insane. That is something I want to see. I think that's something that's very appealing actually, to be honest. Because AJ definitely deserves another world title run. but like they won't give him a long one. So it's in long enough to just last at WrestleMania and give him a storyline with Edge. Like I can actually see that. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually quite sick.
And that's a
Actually,
dream
so
match.
I'm
Edge
hoping
versus
because
AJ.
right
That's a
now
dream match.
it's a dream match. It's a dream match.
So
Exactly.
okay, that being said, what about the other two matches? Sasha Banks versus Carmella and Goldberg versus Drew. How did you find those two matches?
And then go again. Sasha Banks versus Carmella was it was good. It's still a good match to be honest. Like the whole Reginald thing, like fair enough. Okay, that's still happening. But I actually thought Carmella was gonna win because you look at the way they're building her as well, compared to her character in before. Now she's like a proper serious superstar. Before she had like James Ellsworth with her, and she had like she wasn't like as she didn't look as threatening. Now she like the new gear and everything, and the way she is, like she looks like a proper challenger. So I genuinely thought Carmella would have won, but I'm glad that Sasha won because Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania is a very good prospect as well. So, but the match alone was good. Goldberg, Drew McIntyre, I I expected it to be exactly what it is. Like I think you did as well. A
Yeah,
short
yeah.
match, them just hitting their finishers against each other. But I enjoyed it because it's like it's just excitement throughout. Like it starts with a bang. There's no like lockups. There's no like grapples. It just starts spear like through the barricade and all that. And then at that point, I'm like, I still don't know if Drew's gonna win. But then I'm very glad that they kept it on Drew and not didn't give it to Goldberg. I think you were saying as well that the fact that they're bringing him back, they have to give him the title. But I'm just glad that Drew retained. So they still had like good like aside from the actual Rumble matches, that's what I mean. Like they put on a very good show. They put on a good pay per view. I wasn't disappointed with any of the matches. So and Royal Rumble is anyway meant to be the best pay per view of the year after WrestleMania, if not before. So I'm very happy with the whole thing.
Well, I'm just glad that they didn't make Drew lose, man. That would be
I swear, that's
so
weird.
pissing. Yeah, that would be pissing off for everyone. You'll be like, what are they thinking again? And if Goldberg would have won, Brock Lesnar will come back again. That's a guaranteed thing because you can't see Drew McIntyre defeating Goldberg alone. That if they have to build him up.
Yeah,
If they're building Goldberg, so they will bring
yeah.
that Brock Lesnar like pay per view box office. But I'm glad they went with sensible stuff. They didn't go with box office because now they can see the wrestlers are loved by everyone, and everyone is at home, so
Mhm,
everyone will see WrestleMania. It's a guaranteed thing now
mhm,
because America is going through,
mhm.
and not just America is going through such worse times than all the countries. People they're stuck at home, and they want entertainment, and WWE gives that. That's the beauty of WWE. Like I have to give a lot of shout outs to the backstage staff of WWE and Triple H and
Yeah,
Stephanie and Vince and Shane
yeah,
because they hosted an event last year where we were all in a pandemic and we needed something
yeah.
to see because there's so much of negativity in the news. Just how many people are dying every single time. You never knew that okay what's going to happen. But honestly, my birthday is on 4th April. I think that was around WrestleMania only. So
Ah,
every time the WrestleMania it's around my birthday. But last time it was actually on my birthday. I celebrated like and I slept off, and in the morning I woke up again the next day of my birthday, and I wanted to see WrestleMania again. So I saw actually the first part of WrestleMania on my birthday in the morning at 4 to 9 because we all were stuck inside the houses. So it's really
yeah.
nice to see them caring for people. It's really nice for them to put up events and okay, as a fan, what would you want at WrestleMania? Like your WrestleMania prediction, even like 2 3 matches. What's your prediction at WrestleMania? Who's gonna face who? Just tell me that.
Okay. I'll tell you one dream match I'm hoping to happen. I've seen a lot of people cry out for this, and a lot of people have been saying I've been wanting this for years. So have I. You're talking about Brock Lesnar coming back to WrestleMania, right? I want to see Brock Lesnar face Bobby Lashley because those two powerhouses, Bobby Lashley against Brock Lesnar, like everyone wants to see that. People will tune in. People will be waiting to see that, and I'm hoping they do something like if they even if like for example if Matt Riddle takes the title of Bobby Lashley, like Bobby Lashley doesn't necessarily have to fight back for it. Then Brock Lesnar can come back and they have a feud. But at the same time, it's hard to see because it also makes sense to the fact that Paul Heyman is Roman, and they'll push that angle as well. So I can also see that happening, Paul. I mean, realistically, it'll be Roman versus Brock, but I really just want to see Brock versus Lashley, to be honest. Otherwise, what I said earlier, Sasha versus Bianca would be a unreal match. Like, I mean, honestly, I've been so like like not focused, but just I've been more interested in like divas wrestling for a long, like in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Like the way it's evolved, especially when they have their own little pay per view. Like before, back in the day,
evolution.
old days, like in talking Mickey James, Melina, Kelly, all that, it wasn't as appealing. But now it's built to such a like appealing level that I follow. Like I before I might skip the matches. Now I watch it all. Like and it's and you actually want to see certain superstars face each other. So kudos to WWE for that. They have the best women's division in the world, like compared to any other wrestling production. So those two matches for sure. But it's I think the fact that you brought up Edge versus AJ Styles, now I'm hooked on that. Now I want to see that happen at some capacity for sure. I mean, it has to be for world title, obviously. But I'm hoping that happens over any of the other two uh, champions that are there right now against Edge.
You forgot one match. I'm shocked that you didn't mention this. It's
What match?
practically guaranteed. Randy versus The Fiend. WrestleMania 33 rematch.
Oh, oh yes. How could I forget? How could I forget? That rivalry is so amazing as well. Like I can't. Oh man. I was thinking about it like literally 10 minutes ago. Like while you were saying something, I was like, yeah, Alexa Bliss was back there yesterday again. Costume match. That's going to be a crazy match actually. That rivalry again. Credit to WWE for building that rivalry, keeping it interesting, not
Even Alexa,
saturating it
bro,
out. Like it's
she's
actually
she's so good, man.
she's playing that role so well. Like she's a brilliant, like just actor in general. But the fact that
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
also
yeah.
playing it and everything, and oh my god, like again, kudos to really for this. Like genuinely, they're still keeping it fresh, entertaining. Like these kind of storylines, that's what we want. That's what we want to see, and they're doing it. So
And
I'm down there for
credit
it. That match is gonna be crazy.
the credit to Randy, man.
It's
He's
gonna be.
kind of like he always does interesting stuff. Like last year he had a match with, I
Mhm.
think, who did he have a match with last year? Edge,
He had a match
which
with
is
Edge.
a yeah, and then before that he had a match with AJ Styles. They were good matches, but with this thing with the Fiend, I think it's the best thing in WWE right now. I think it's better than Roman Reigns' story. I think
Yeah,
it it
100%.
it this rivalry is adding more mystique and supernatural stuff. And I have to give credit to Alexa, man. I never thought she would do this. Like, I never thought that they would actually push her to this level of main event. This is the main event. She's not
This is main
only
event. Yeah.
being dangerous in women's division, she's being dangerous in the men's division. They can do the Joker Harley Quinn story over here with Fiend and
Yeah.
Alexa, and it's going to work because right now there are no crowds. But when crowds come back, you could see. Same thing with the camera angle. When Alexa was there, you couldn't see her,
And she just
and
transformed and all that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's obviously editing and like shooting late and stuff because there's no one there. You can camera cheat and stuff. But when they're live, it's going to be much amazing because they will have more stuff to come up with. But Randy versus Alexa is gonna sorry Randy versus the Fiend is gonna happen definitely. I think with so much of talent that they have right now and WrestleMania is around the corner, I genuinely cannot predict any of the matches because I don't know what's gonna happen. Like no fan can predict, but we can only predict like
No.
Edge, AJ or Edge Roman or Roman Brock. Because Roman he can lose the
Yeah.
title next 2 months. Who knows? Maybe The Rock can come
Yeah.
back.
Because I can't see Edge versus Drew. Because Drew like he's so like he's there. He's like there's no way someone like Edge, no matter how good, no matter who he is, Edge. Like you can't see Edge taking that off Drew. It's gonna take something special to take it off Drew. You know what I mean? Something special or something controversial. You
Bro,
know what I'm
Randy
saying?
won
You know what I
in the
mean?
middle, man, out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like relatively controversial at the time as well because of the stipulation of the match. I actually can't remember what kind of match it was again
Hell in a cell.
because they had a Hell in a Cell. It was Hell in a Cell. It was Hell in a Cell. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, um, they're just doing well. Like right now, I think what's the next pay per view before this? Is it Payback?
No, it's a fast lane and elimination chamber. Fast lane in Feb, elimination
Okay,
chamber in
Elimination
March.
Chamber. from there we'll know, because that'll definitely have like title matches, and those are easy matches to take the world titles off certain guys, right? Because
You know when it's
it's
happening?
not a
The date?
one-on-one. When is happening?
March 22nd, only 18 days before WrestleMania. You can expect some big shit can happen.
Wow. Okay,
So,
that's news
so
to me. Yeah, that's actually. Oh man. Yeah, definitely. Then yeah, it's way too early for predictions. Then
yeah, it's very, and
way.
it's kind of like exciting in a way. Wrestling has come back alive, because we never thought, like obviously with John Cena and The Rock, and we had those main events before, and Roman Reigns beating Undertaker, we didn't like that, and the Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, we didn't like that either, and then 35 also was not that kind of a big match, the ladies or main event. It was a good moment, but the match was not that great. It was a good moment
The
as
was
fans to see.
Rousey Becky
Yeah,
Lynch
yeah,
winning it, right?
yeah. Becky
Yeah.
Lynch won, but the match was not great. They were too physical. There was no storyline. They were like just hitting
Yeah.
each other and beating it up. And 36 obviously was the
Yeah.
pandemic. So I think after
Yeah.
WrestleMania 31, this is a genuinely exciting WrestleMania after 6 years, because 32 was Triple H and Roman Reigns, which was one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. 33 was Undertaker Roman, again the worst main event. I think
I
this will be
hated that
the
match.
yeah. I think this was the best Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania. Like regardless who he faces, regardless.
Thing is, this is the best Roman Reigns character there's ever been. The
Yeah,
fact that it has to be one of the best Roman Reigns matches, whoever he faces. Like, I'm so happy that like Roman Reigns is who he is right now, not like the same, like everyone booing him and trying to be that baby face, trying to be like the face of the company. Now he's like proper, like just evil, like just he does not give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like the whole head of the table thing, like, oh, you disrespect me, you disrespect my family, like from any small little thing, etc., etc. And like those little dialogues he has in his matches and stuff, like it just makes it just adds so much. So I'm really really curious to see who Roman faces. Like it has to be someone truly worthwhile to make use of the character that he's in right now. It has to be like
maybe
a classic match.
maybe The Rock, and he defeats The Rock and becomes the ultimate
Everyone wants.
gangster.
You're throwing a lot of
If
hope in my mind.
yeah, if Roman versus The Rock, who's gonna win? Like just for who should win?
Ah,
Not the who's gonna win. Who should win? That's a different question, too.
listen, Roman, he should win because I don't see The Rock committing long term to WWE again. Because if he wins a world title, if it's for a world title, like you can't see him back there and then for another month or two carry it until he loses it. Like it's The Rock now. It's Dwayne Johnson. He's got so much going on, highest paid
No,
actor
but
in the world. Like you can't see him
but bro,
committing that
if
long time now.
if Roman loses, for example, against anyone in these 2 3 months, and he's upset and he berates Jey Uso, imagine The Rock coming up and saying that you don't deserve this, you have been arrogant and stuff like that, and then they have a match without the title. Then who's going to win? So you have two options: with the title, without title, who's going to win?
If it's with the title, it's Roman. If it's without, oh man, I feel like it's gonna be Roman either way. I don't know if The Rock is gonna
Maybe,
gonna make The Rock beat him. I think it's gonna
maybe.
be Roman either way because they don't want. Thing is, if you think about it, like WWE don't want their biggest star, arguably their biggest star, if aside from Drew, to lose to it's The Rock. He's probably one of the like the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? But he's not. He's still you know he's not like in his prime. He's way past it. Roman's in his prime. If they do that to Roman, they would pretty much like they'd be they'd be doing him dirty. I'm not gonna lie. It has
Correct.
to be
Yeah.
Roman either way if he faces The Rock. But regardless, it has to just be a good match overall. It has to be close. The Rock has to look like he's gonna win it, and like a couple of occasions, hit like 2, 3, 4 rock bottom, few people's elbows. You're like, oh, he's gonna do it. No, close pinfall, and then Roman maybe controversially ends up winning it.
Yeah,
So
I know.
that's what how I can see it if it happens.
So, okay. So, that being said, this is the last topic we'll talk about today. Thank you again, Prince, for joining me. It has been a great Royal Rumble, I have to say. One of the best Royal Rumbles you'll ever see in your
100%.
life. And, people
Absolutely.
who are seeing this, please like and subscribe. Thank you, my brother, for joining me again.
Always.
Thanks for everything. The fans who are seeing this, I think there's 74 subscribers. So please keep subscribing and let's get up to 100. Thank you. Take care and God bless, man. See you.
Take care.